My name is Stephen Akintayo. I'm Africa's most sought after investment coach. I'm a serial entrepreneur. And I started my business with about 1,000 naira 12 years ago, and I built a multi-billionaire, real estate and other subsidiary empire. And so some of what I share often are practical things that I've had to do in the last 12 years that has helped me to be where I am today in terms of asset. I'm not big on keeping money in the bank. I'm big on investing. So I make money, I keep buying properties. And so some of those secrets is what I'm sharing. One of the things I've had to educate people is it's never overnight. So a lot of time when we mention the subject of billions, people are quick to think that, how can I then do it fast, quick? And a lot of people have had to reach me and they didn't like the answer they got. Sometimes people say, Stephen, how do I make money quickly? And I'll say, I'm sorry, I don't know how. And I mean it. It's not that I'm trying to just be, I have never been lucky in my life. I don't know what luck is. I've had to work hard to get to where I am today. And I've had to go through the process. Mr. Paul from Liverpool, thank you for joining. So I've had to go through a process of building wealth in my life. So it was never like, it was sudden. I never knew and then something just happened. I'm not one of those people who got there that way. I wish it was that easy for me and I can just be telling you quick ways, but mine wasn't that way. So what is land banking? Land banking is a process of buying landed properties, not for the purpose of building a house that you're going to live in, but for the purpose of investment. So in this case, you're buying properties, and the goal of buying those properties is so that you can leave it for a while and the property appreciates in value, and then you can sell it when it has appreciated. Okay, that is what land banking is about. So when you are trying to look for a land to build the house that you want to live in with your amazing family, that is not land banking. Okay, that is not land banking. Land banking is when you're looking for a land to buy that will appreciate 500%, 1,000% return on investment. Yes, you're doing land banking. That's how. Okay, that's how you build wealth. Okay, so I just started again, and as you're joining me, tell me your name and the city you're joining me from. Share this video at least 10 times on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn. Click on the Facebook party icon. Invite as many of your friends as possible. Tell them the Eagles in the building and get all of them to join us and learn, okay? Let everybody share. So, how to become a land banking billionaire? How many of you have ever done land banking before? If you've done land banking before, type 1. If you've not done land banking before, type 2. Okay, I want to have an idea. How many of you have done land banking before? If you've done land banking, type 1. If you've not, type 2. Okay, if you've been at least putting your money into some form of land banking, type 1. If you've not, type 2. Let me see. It's important. I just want to, Moses from Abeokuta, thank you for joining me. I just want to have an idea of some of you already doing land banking or those of you who are not doing it. Land banking is one of the ways to make a lot of money legally. It's actually SN from Cross River. It's actually Anita from Lokoja, I see you. It's actually one of the best ways to become wealthy legally. And in Nigeria, I don't know any better way for you to build wealth without soiling your name, without having to become corrupt. There are very other few ways to do that outside land banking. Okay, because you could get good lands from families and literally not have anything to do with government, except for maybe when you need to start building and you need permits, and even that third party can handle it for you. So it's one of those ways where you don't need to become a crony of political parties, of people in government, and you can build legitimate wealth that you yourself can be proud of, looking back years later and say, I'm proud of what I have built, I'm proud of what we've done. We didn't have to collect government money. We didn't have to, the money meant to do good roads. We didn't have to steal the money to build wealth, right? Land banking is one of those things because land appreciates in value even while you sleep. The house, a landlord makes more money even when they are sleeping. Okay, you buy land and you buy it genuinely from the right source, you don't need to do anything on it for the value to appreciate. Now, if you choose to do something on it like I do, then the value of that property appreciates a lot faster, and you even have a lot to benefit even faster. But you actually do not even need to do that. Okay, even if you just buy the land and you're able to have partners who make sure that your land is secure, you are guaranteed to become wealthy just by having a land. Okay, and so this is a powerful way many people have come out of poverty using this model, and it has worked over and over and over again, and it can work for you too if it's something that you want to do. For example, let me give you a story of a man called Paul Adefarasin. His father was a civil servant in Lagos State, and he retired, and they gave him £2,000. In those days, Nigeria used to spend pounds, and he decided to use his £2,000 to buy a land. Then in Victoria Island, called Akin Adeshola, is where the place is. Now you will say, well, maybe he bought VI. Why won't he buy VI? VI is a good place. But what you didn't know then, in those days, Victoria Island was a marshy land. People were not buying VI. The city of Lagos was Yaba, was Mushin, was Bariga, was Uju-Elegba. I'm not kidding you. Go do your research about Lagos very well. Was Isale Eko? Victoria Island was being avoided because it was marshy. There's water around Victoria Island, so nobody wants to stay in Victoria Island. And these are some of the things people don't know. I've seen people a lot of time talk about thinking that what others did, they too will have done if they were in their shoes, not realizing the opportunity always come like a bad market. And even you, the reason you are not taking advantage of the opportunities that are coming your way now is because they don't look like they are opportunities. They are looking like it's a bad move. They are looking like you are not sure. It's not the right thing. What's the guarantee will work? And so you're not making the right move because you're not even sure it's the right move. Are you getting some value? If you're getting value, type I'm getting value. Tell me your name, the city you're joining me from. Share this video 10 times on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on LinkedIn. Get everybody in here. Click on the Facebook party icon and start inviting everybody here, okay? So very important that you understand that the Akadeshola of those days was marshy land. So in fact, when this man, his father, bought this land, Paul Adefarasin, Pastor Paul, his father could not build it because it was still not developed location yet. Just left it there. He didn't even have the money to build it. Years later, when VI became, a land where a lot of people started moving to VI. When it comes to land, there's something we call land bubble. Okay, can everybody type it? Land bubble. Right now in Lagos, the place where there's land bubble is called Ibejuleki in Lagos. That's where there's land bubble. So there's always, time to time, every season, there is always a place that is called land bubble. It's like the location everybody wants to get something. Okay, in that location, everybody wants to get something. Right now, Ibejuleki is that place. In those days, it used to be Victoria Land became the land bubble. But his father has bought that land before VI became land bubble. So a company came to his father and said, can we build on your land? We will take the rent of the house we build on your land for 10 years so that we'll make back our money, we'll get a profit, and we'll give you back your house. Again, the man agreed. Some of you would not have agreed if you were in his shoes because you would have been afraid. Okay, am I sure? What if they cheat me? What if it doesn't work? And I see a lot of people do that. We're always afraid. Always not wanting to take risk. Always thinking of what, investment is about risk taking. There's no guarantee in life. But it is risky not to take risk. I want everybody to type it. It is risky not to take risk. Everybody type it here. It is risky not to take risk. So his father agreed and gave them the land. They built on it. And true to their word, 10 years later, they gave him back the land. Do you believe this? It was the rent his father was making from that land that they used to send them to school abroad, him and all his other brothers and sisters. Because the father was not a rich man. He was a civil servant. Remember, I told you that. So money from land banking sent all of them to school in the finest school in the world. Not only that, when his father then died 50 years later, how much did I say his father used to buy the property? Who can remember the amount? I want you guys to follow me here. Are you guys following me? Come on, talk to me. Remember to share this video 10 times. Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, share. Get everybody in here. Okay? How much did I say the father used to buy that property in Akiade Shola? £2,000. Remember, type it, £2,000. Now, can you guess how much they then sold the land 50 years later when the father died and the children needed the property? Guess how much? They sold that same land 50 years later for almost $5 million. $5 million. Okay? Almost $5 million. From £2,000 to $5 million 50 years later. That is what we're talking about when we say land banking, when we say there's money in this business model, when we say, oh, take what we are teaching you serious, when we say, oh, you can build wealth in this industry, this is what we're saying. That it is a whole lot. It is a whole lot. Now, this is what I want to share with you. How do you become a land banking billionaire? If you're ready for today's lecture, can you type, I'm ready, I'm ready. Okay, and I'm going to share this process in a way that even if you are not any special person, you can still do this. Okay, that's what I want to share. How do I teach you? And that's what I'm going to be teaching you. I'm going to take it step by step in such a way that even if you are not an expert, okay, when it comes to land banking, the model we're teaching you is so detailed that you will be able to learn, okay, how to go about it. And you'll be able to learn how to do it in a very smart, in a very intelligent way. If you're ready, type, I'm ready. So the first step that you want to take, and that's one of the steps I took, okay? The first step, step one. And this first step is very, very critical. And I encourage you to take those steps and take it very, very seriously, because if you do, you will be glad. Years later, you look back and say, thank God. Number one step, if you're ready, type, I'm ready. Don't buy one plot. And I think this is one of the biggest mistakes people make. When you start your journey in land banking, one of the biggest challenges people always face is the fact that they don't have much money. And they are just doing it almost reluctantly in many cases. So it's almost more like, well, let's see what happens, right? And because it's always, let's see what happens, many people do not buy more than one plot. And I'll tell you the danger of that. What that then do, it actually puts you in a position where you look back and you begin to regret, because if you had bought more than one plot, you will have achieved a lot more. I'm going to show you a short video of a student of mine who came for one of my real estate classes. And his story is very practical and illustrates what I'm teaching you here. He bought a land in a very marshy land. In fact, they used Keno to take him to the land 15 years ago for 12 million naira, right? It was done by Chevron Cooperative. The place is now known as Nikon Estate. And when he bought that land, he just bought one unit. He never knew the land will appreciate so much. And 15 years later, I'm one of those who started marketing that land for him for 220 million. From 12 million to 220 million. I want everybody to type it. From 12 million to 220 million. Everybody, I want to type this. From 12 million to 220 million. Can you type that? From 12 million to 220 million. Yes, that's the reality of this. And I remember the day we went to the land, we're going to show you the video very shortly. He said to me, he said, I regret not buying 2 plots. He said, that's my biggest regret. He said, because I'm trying to sell this one now. The money I need is barely just 100 million. He said, if I had bought 2 plots, right, I would have, sold this one for 220 million, take my 100 million, use the remaining 120 million to develop the second land and probably, start selling houses or renting houses. He said, I just regret not. But I said, but you can't blame me. I never believed this place will have appreciated this much. I couldn't believe. He said, we used canoe to come here. I couldn't step my feet on the land because it was all water. So it was just because I had much money with me that time. And I just said, well, let's just get it. Whether it works or not, at least let me just have that property. He said, that was why I got it. I never knew that it was going to become this big. And this is always the problem many of us, or the mistake many of us make when we stumble into land banking, because we didn't do it intentionally. It was just something that, okay, you know what, I have some cash, let's just do it. And so you end up seeing people buying a very good location that years later they look back and say, yeah, if I had known. So the first rule that I'm going to teach you today, if you are buying a land for the purpose of land banking, do not buy 1 plot. At least buy 2, or buy 1 acre, or buy 2 acres, or buy 3. But try to buy 2 plots, at least. And the reason, like I said, is so that when the property eventually appreciates, right? Because like I said, he never wanted to live there. He was just buying something that, okay, in future, let him just tie down money. But what then even happened? And this was, in fact, the man was telling me that he doesn't even have his own house yet. So one of the things was that the place is even better than where he lives, where he bought that land. But who knows tomorrow, right? Who knows tomorrow? So you don't know. The place you are buying now is a bush, is waterlogged, there's water everywhere. People are even telling you, is your head correct that you are buying this land? People are telling you, will this thing ever appreciate? Does it even make sense? You buy 2. So that you don't know if the place now appreciates in future, it now becomes so good that you may even end up living there. At least you can sell one, use the money to develop the other one. Or you sell one and use the money to build the other one and still rent it out. If this makes sense, can you type, it makes sense, it makes sense. Everybody engagement. Come on, guys, talk to me. If this lecture is making sense, can you type, it makes sense, it makes sense, it makes sense. So very important, if you're serious about this land banking thing, if you're serious about building genuine wealth through land banking, okay, it is wisdom that you say to yourself, I will buy at least 2 plots. Okay? Come on, guys. If you're getting value, type, I am getting value. Everybody, talk to me. If it's making sense, you're getting value, you're learning, can you type, I'm getting value, I'm getting value. You can go to my YouTube channel at Stephen Akitao TV now. You will see the video, okay? You will see the video, and it will humble you when you watch it and you hear this man share his story. We were on the land. We were on the land when I was marketing the land, and he shared this story. You will learn a lot. So are you ready for number 2? If you're ready, type, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. Number 2, if you're ready, type, I'm ready. Okay, keep the land for at least 5 years. Okay, I want somebody to help us be typing this thing. Keep the land for at least 5 years. This is also another mistake I see people make. You do land banking, you don't even keep it for long. You're already rushing to sell it. And sometimes I say, people, what's going on here? At least keep it for 5 years. Keep it. I understand in the process of buying property, hunger will come, desperation will set in at some point. You need money for your family at some point. Things happen at some point that you didn't plan for. And so you urgently need money. I get it. We're all humans and we all need bills. But do your best to close your eyes for 5 years without touching that land. Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. The man I told you that bought a land for 12 million and sold it for 220 million. If he sold that land 5 years after he bought it, he couldn't have sold the land for more than 20 or 25 million. If you agree, type I agree. Right? Okay, max 5 years later, maybe you will have sold it for, let's say 40 million. 5 years later. Yeah? Maybe you sold it for 5 years later. Maybe you will have been able to sell it for 40 million. But it's 40 million compared to 220 million. If he has sold it for 40 million and later got to know that land in that area was going for 220 million, will he have forgiven himself? He will have been full of regrets, right? So these are the reasons why you don't just rush and make certain decisions just because of temporary financial constraints. You immediately sell your parcel of land for a bowl of pottage. You've heard that story between Jacob and Esau, okay, where he sold his birthright for a morsel of bread. You don't want to be one of those set of people. So you get a small, you get, for something very token, and before you know it, you begin to, I need money, so let me sell the land, Wait, Chile, calm down, relax. Give it 5 years. Give it 5 years. At least 5 years. Except the only reason you can decide not to give it 5 years is if you have improved on the land. So you bought a land. You decide to fence it around. You decide to add some value to it immediately. Then at that point, yes, you will still be able to sell it for something because you have also added value to that property. But in many cases of land banking, you only buy it from a genuine source. You leave it for a while. In such case, if you immediately begin to sell it because you urgently need money, you will lose. And you will, I can assure you that years later, you will look back and just keep telling yourself, what was wrong with me? Why did I just sell it off? Okay? Why did I sell it off? Somebody's laughing, say, Chele. No, but it's true, right? So you don't want to put yourself in a situation, you bought a good property, and because of, you needed money urgently, which we all do, and I understand, like I said, I can, as somebody who has been through a lot in my life, I understand the issue when people urgently need money and they have bills to pay and they have to, quickly get some money. I get it. But you don't want to do something that years later you look back and just say, why did I do this? Okay? Yes, I needed money, but I could have been patient. I could have been a little bit patient and just hold on. And I've heard several people say that to me, okay, telling me, you know what, I did land banking investment years ago, and I regret, cashing out too early, because at the end of the day, the property that I sold for peanuts eventually grew to become very big. I'm sure some of you have met people like that who have also shared stories like that with you, that they bought certain properties, they never knew the property will appreciate so fast. They sold it too early. So you don't want to sell too early. You want to keep, except if you bought so much, right, that even if you had to sell some portion, it's no big deal. But keep it at least 5 years. Don't rush. Don't be one of those people who I urgently need money. I need money now. I need money today. Relax. If you are learning, type I'm learning, I'm getting value. Come on, guys. Talk to me. If you are learning, can you type I'm learning, I'm getting value, I'm learning. Everybody engage me, guys. Where are all my Stephen Akitayo students? As you're joining me, also share your name and the city you're joining me from. I'd like you to share this video again and again with your friends. Hit the Facebook party icon. Get everybody in here. Okay, get everybody back in here. Share until everybody is here. They must hear this. We're teaching on how to be a land banking billionaire. If you missed this, you can later go watch it all over again, and you learn a lot about what we're discussing, the definition of land banking, as I'm aware that some of you may not even know what land banking is. Okay? But if you're learning, type I'm learning, and share this video at least 10 times on Facebook, on WhatsApp. And if you've shared this video 10 times, let me know. I'd like to know if you have already shared this video 10 times. Also, please, quickly, I'd like you to let me know if you're ready for number 2. Okay, I want to share number 3, right? Number 3, we've shared number 1. Number 1 move is buy more than 1 plot. Buy more than 1 plot so that you don't later regret that you didn't buy enough. Number 2 move that we shared was keep the land for at least 5 years. So when you are doing land banking is a long-term game. It's not a short-term game. Anybody who is a pro when it comes to land banking knows that it's a long-time game. It's never a short-time game. So if you're a pro and you know it's not a short-time game, you aren't going to just sell the land so quickly. So number 3, if you're ready for number 3, type I'm ready. Number 3, and this is very important, sell half of the land after 5 years and buy to go and look for a new spot that you need to buy. So after 5 years, you can sell half of the land and use the money to go and buy a new place that is also good for land banking. So you've tried this land banking move in this area. Okay, 5 years later, use half of the money, go to a new location that is developing, because things change and evolve that way. So say, okay, where else is investment going to go? Which location can I go into now and start buying early that will also still appreciate like this current location? Because in 5 years, the location you bought will have started taking shape, okay? And new locations will have emerged that also have potential of appreciating in value. So rather than wait, just sell half of the old location and go to a new location again that is appreciating in value and go and tie something down there. Is this making sense? If it's making sense, type it is making sense. It's making sense. These are how wealthy people build wealth. They are always ahead of time. They are always investing in properties and are conscious of locations and are always moving fast. And, the owner of the owner of Eleganza always mix the two. Did this very well. I must commend that man. Chief Razak Okoya, he did this very well. He used to be have his industrial complex in Lagos toll gates. That's Alausa area, Opebi or Egun area. Okay, after a while, Baba moved to another location. If you know that story, you know what I'm talking about. Moved to Okota at some point. Remember that story? Baba moved to Okota and started buying more of Okota. At another season, okay, Baba moved to Lekki. Most people don't know, but the Lekki investment, he used it to build more of estates, okay, residential. Okay, right now, Baba have moved to close to Ekpe with his industrial, estate in Ekpe. And so this is how people who are intelligent always go ahead of time. They see into tomorrow. They tie down something ahead. They don't wait. They don't wait till it happens. So the third move is that 5 years later, sell half of the land, use it to go and look for another location that will be promising, and tie something down there. At that point, you can then also use some money to start building residential accommodation in that location. Okay, so you can start building houses. You can start building residential accommodation where people can live in and things like that. You can start doing all of that, and absolutely you can. If you're getting value, can you type, I'm getting value, I'm getting value, I'm getting value? Come on, everybody. Talk to me. If you're getting value, can you type, I'm getting value, I'm getting value? So these are powerful ways to build wealth and become a land banking billionaire. Okay? You want to take actions fast. You want to take them quick, and you want to be very proactive in your moves. You want to be very calculative in your move. If you're ready for number 4, type I'm ready, I'm ready. Number 4. So number 1, buy more than 1 plot. Number 2, okay, I keep it for at least 5 years. Number 3, okay, sell half of it after 5 years and go and buy another potential location. Number 4, if you're ready for number 4, type I'm ready, I'm ready. Number 4. So number 4 that I will advise that you do, number 4, is use evidence of your property purchase to attract OPM. Who can tell me the meaning of OPM? What's the meaning of OPM? If you know the meaning of OPM, just type the meaning. What's the meaning of OPM? Okay, what is the meaning of OPM? Okay, it's very important that you get acquainted with all these words. OPT, OPM, they mean something. And in the school of wealth, everybody who is wealthy had to use it. Everybody who is wealthy today had to use it. Thank you very much, John. Other people's money. You have to use other people's money. And one of the ways you can use other people's money, in the case of land investment, in this case, is to go and prove to them that you bought yourself. Now, let me tell you one of the reasons why it's been difficult for many people to be able to use OPM when it comes to landed properties, because they are trying to sell the land that they themselves have not used their money to buy. So imagine you are meeting your mates, you're meeting your friends to say they should come and buy a particular land in Ibejuleki. And they say, okay, Orewa, you that you are telling us to come and buy this land, share with us. Have you bought yourself? Say, no, but I can assure you, don't worry. The place, you see, at that point, you lack what we call credibility. You lack credibility. How can you tell me, and you say I'm your friend, I should come and do something you've not done yourself? For you not to have found a way to have used your money somehow, to have invested in the land, then why are you telling me to come and invest? This is one of the biggest mistakes a lot of property brokers face. So after you have bought, one of the biggest way to raise money so that you can keep buying more land is to become a property broker. But always using the evidence of the one you bought to convince your friends, your loved ones to buy. And this is powerful, because if I can show you that me that I'm asking you to come and buy property in Ibejuleki, I've bought. People always tell me, Mr. Stephen, why do you sell very well? I mean, people trust you. They buy property from you just like that, right? In some days, you sell 10 plots, 20 plots, okay? 50 plots in one day, you know. How are you able to do this? I said, well, because people trust me. And why do they trust me? They know that I'm the owner of the estate. I've used my money to buy the land. So you are buying 1 plot, you're buying 1 acre, you're buying 2 acres. Me, I've used my own money to buy 100 acre in that place, 50 acre in that place. So you are more comfortable trusting me, okay? Because I was the first person who got there. And you know that I couldn't have put in my money if I was not convinced that there is potential in that location. I wouldn't have put in my money. So many of you do not know that once you have bought a land, you have earned credibility to sell to other people. And an average company gives you 10%, 5%, 15%, 12%, depends, some 5%, some 2%. It doesn't even matter. Listen, becoming wealthy is always a function of residual income. That extra token, 1% here, 2% there, 5% there, 10% there, that is not a function of my active income. So you already have a job. Some of you are not even in Nigeria, okay? And you are now getting 2% from somebody else's effort. You are now getting 5%, 10% from somebody else's effort. That's an amazing, powerful move. Amazing, amazing, powerful move. That's how you build wealth, ladies and gentlemen. That's how you build wealth. So it's a powerful strategy that people have used over and over again, and it has always worked. OPM. Now, but the only reason you struggle to be able to use OPM is if you yourself, you've not purchased that land, you've not built credibility, you've not used your own money to buy property in that location. So it's a bit difficult for you to be telling everybody to come and invest. If you are learning, type I'm learning. Come on, everybody. Okay, so number 5. If you are learning, let me know. I want to be sure you are getting value and you are learning so much. Number 5, and this is the final point and very important. Remember, I've shared 4 points so far. Number 1, buy more than 1 plot if you're doing land banking. Number 2, keep it for at least 5 years. Number 3, okay, sell half of it after 5 years to buy another new location. Number 4, use the evidence of property purchase to attract other people's money. In other words, you're able to convince other people to buy, and you use their 10% to keep buying more, okay, because you get commission when you sell to other people. So your commission, you can be using to acquiring more land. So I could start by buying 1 plot and then convince 10 of my friends to buy. If I get 30%, that gives me an entitlement to purchase another 1 plot with my commission. If I'm able to convince 50 of my friends to buy, that gives me 5 plots, okay, if I use my commission to immediately buy more lands. So you see how you begin to acquire more lands, even using other people's money instead of your own personal money. So number 5, if you're ready for number 5, type I'm ready. As you're joining us, tell us your name, your city, share this video 50 times or 10 times. Click on the Facebook party icon, invite all your friends, get everybody in here. Okay, invite everybody to join us. So number 5, get a mentor. This is probably the most important aspect of this. It's always easy when we do videos like this, as if you can do it on your own, but please get a mentor. It's always wisdom to get somebody who has results in a business to mentor you. It's wisdom. I always tell people it's wisdom. Don't be greedy. Don't be greedy. Don't think you are clever. In fact, I always tell people, business people always look like they are not clever. Entrepreneurs always look like they don't know what they're doing, because most entrepreneurs always share deals, right? They share, whatever they're making. For example, 15% of every money that comes into my company goes to our brokers. 15% is distributed among those who brought customers to our company. 15% of the entire income. So if I make, and I'm not kidding you, what does that mean? It means that if I make 1 billion naira in a year, 150 million had gone to other people. And I'm not talking of contractors who went to contractors, the money paid to vendors, just that you brought somebody, right? And this is how wealth is created. But when you meet an average poor man, he doesn't want to share his profit with anybody. He wants to eat it alone. It's just me alone, me. So, and it's always that I can do it by myself. What's the big deal there? You need to get a mentor. If you don't have a mentor, how do you know the right place to buy? How do you even secure the land? How do you even know whether, because land banking is usually buying a piece of property with potential to appreciate in value, okay? And so how do you even know such location? You need a mentor to tell you. When you buy such land, how do you make sure you don't get it taken from you? You need a mentor to show you how. You need a mentor. I know of a friend of mine who started this business in Nigeria with just 350 million. Now, he's a big guy. So, for somebody to start a business with 350 million, it's a big guy. He's based in the US. And he got a partner in Nigeria. The partner didn't have money, but the partner had the connections. He knows how to buy the right land. He knows how to protect the land, make sure nobody steals the land. He knows how to get laborers to fence the land round and things like that. Okay, and this partner helped him. True story. This is a true story. In the last 4 years, and I'm telling you, true story, 4 years, he has converted 350 million naira, okay, to 20 billion naira in the last 4 years, in form of land banking and house flipping. They do two more business model. They do land banking. They do land flipping. House flipping. They buy a house, remodel the house, and they sell it. Okay, He has built asset to the tune, you heard me, to the tune of 20 billion naira in 4 years, from 350 million. But if this guy had not partnered with somebody in Nigeria who didn't even have money, but had because he was based in the US, but this guy in Nigeria doesn't have money, but knows how to do the business. If he did not partner with that person, he will have lost all his money, everything gone. And this is where people get greedy. I mean, those of you in diaspora, I remember I was teaching in Baltimore 3 years ago, and a woman, asked me a question. So, Mr. Steven, it's difficult for those of us in diaspora to be able to build wealth in Nigeria. He said, I had a business in Nigeria before I relocated to the US. And while living, coming to the US, I left it in the hands of somebody I trusted, and they've totally ruined our business today, said the woman. And I smiled, and I said, Ma, with all due respect, when you were leaving Nigeria, did you tell, your partner, he wasn't lucky, stop saying he's lucky, Charles, stop saying he's lucky. You yourself, you have 350 million, will you put it in Nigeria, and will you put it in the hands of somebody? Will you take that kind of risk? Charles, will you do that? That's what we're talking about here. Will you do it? It's easy to sit there and say it's lucky. There's nothing luck about it. Everything was intentionally done. If you were in his shoe, would you have even done what he did? You wouldn't now. You have 350 million, you give it to somebody in Nigeria. You know what people will have told you. So thank you, Charles, for being honest. So you can't say he was lucky. Because it was a risk. He could have lost all that 350 million. But back to what I was saying. This woman, I asked her, I said, when you were returning, leaving Nigeria to come to the US, what was wrong for you to have called the person that you intended to hand over your Nigerian business to and say, young man, come and buy 15% equity in this business? Bring in an independent evaluator. And then tell those independent evaluators to evaluate the entire business, and let the person you wanted to hand over your business in Nigeria to, and say they've evaluated our business to be worth, let's say, I'm just giving an example, 100 million. I'm willing to sell you 15% equity of this business. For 15 million. Go and raise 15 million from family and friends, bring it to me, and you co-own 15%. And I can go to the US, and when we share profit, you keep 15%, I keep, and you are free to buy more than 15% if you want. I said to the woman, what's wrong with doing that? She said, that's true, it never occurred to me. And I told her, I said, if you have done that, do you agree with me that most likely you will not have had this issue? She said, yes, I agree. I said, so why didn't you do it? She said, it never occurred to me. And this is how many of us find ourselves. So many times when we, like Charles is saying, I don't trust anybody. Many times if you get a mentor to help you review the decisions that you have done that led to you losing money, right? Independent person, a neutral person, to help you review your moves, your steps, your actions. Charles, you will have realized that you too made some mistakes. You will realize. But many times we go into business with emotions, with sentiment. There's no mentor. Just me alone, me. And even those people you claim swindled you, when you could have gotten a mentor. In fact, even if a mentor had advised you, you would have said the mentor was not related to you, that you keep quiet. It's family matters. So a lot of time people come and play victim, but the reality was that they played sentiment years ago. It's my cousin, it's my brother, it's my nephew, it's my in-law. And they had the opportunity to have gotten a neutral person to say, and like I said, even this guy that I'm telling you, the person who is his partner is not in any way related to him. They are not related in any way. So he did it purely based on, he knew the guy had track record, he knew the guy had integrity, and it was based on the guy's merit. And I say it today, the reason our company is doing so well is that everything is based on merit. Okay, everything is based on merit. There's equity, there's justice, and there's merit. You can rise from nobody in GTEx and become the #1 person, no matter who you are and where you come from, as long as you have the result to show. And that's how companies grow. That's how businesses grow. You cannot become nepotic. There's no family member in my business, and there's nothing wrong. Okay, if I find a family member qualified to work in my company today, I will hire them. But I've not found one. So building a system that is purely based on results, on what people track record, and what people can bring to the table is how you build a great empire for yourself. If you're learning type, I learned, I'm learning. So let me recap what we've taught today. And today's topic has been how to become a land banking billionaire. Step 1, buy more than one plot always when you're buying land for land banking. Number 2, keep the land for at least 5 years. Number 3, sell half of it to buy another new location after 5 years. Number 4, use the evidence of any land you've purchased to convince other people to buy same land, and use your commission to increase the quantity of land that you have in that location. So if, for example, I use my money to buy one plot of land from, let's say, GTEx Homes, right? And I'm just a client. After I have bought one plot, if I'm wise, I will tell my friends, show them my receipt, to show them that I've bought one plot with GTEx and had a great experience. And I advised them to also buy it because I was convinced that property will appreciate. That's why I put in my money. Now, if they can see your receipt, you see, all this, be careful will reduce. The reason why you see people are also putting fear in you is because you've not even done it. What many of you do, instead of first buying it, put your own hand in fire first. You will, before you buy, you now be calling friends, say, hey, I want to buy land in Nigeria. Hey, Nigeria, don't do it, don't do it, be careful. So people put fear in you, right? And then you don't do it. And then years later, you blame all your friends for the reason you didn't do it. But it wasn't them, it was you, right? You needed to have used your mind, do your own research. Am I sure I want to buy this? Am I convinced? Buy it first, then call your friends to come and do the same. That's how I did it. I first started buying landed properties. Okay, today in our family, all my family and friends are on my neck to buy properties from my company. But if I had, first of all, informed them that I was going to, land business, they would have discouraged me. Even my father would have discouraged me because my father's uncle used to do land business, and he had 3-time assassination attempt on his life. Right? 3 times, if not that, they are, they are strong men, right? So I won't say more than they are strong men. He will have been died. He will have been killed. So even if I had told my own biological father I was going into land business, right, to start building estate, he probably would have said, be careful. You remember your uncle was almost killed 3 times in land matters years ago. By the way, my uncle is still alive. He's over 85 and doing very well. But the lesson was I waited till I had result before I started telling family members. And when they saw my result, they couldn't discourage me again. And so many of us want to do great things in investment, in business, but the first move we make is to first go and be telling people we want to make a move. And they put fear in us, and we end up not doing it. And we blame them if in future we realize that we should have done it. Meanwhile, it was our fault. Okay, you should first do it. Take the risk. After you've taken the risk, you can then tell people that, and it was safe for you. You can say, I have done it. It worked. I encourage you to do it. As they do it, you earn 10% commission. You can use those 10% commission to keep buying more properties. Then number 5, get mentors to guide you. You need mentors. Mentors play a critical role in helping you to build massive wealth. That's how you become wealthy. Use mentors, use their help, and they help you to build wealth. It's as simple as that. Have you learned something? If you've learned something, type I've learned, I've learned, I've learned. I got value, I got value. Come on, guys, talk to me. If you learned something, you got value, type I've learned, I've gotten value. Remember to keep sharing the video. And I love you, and I want to say a big thank you for being part of today's show. I wish you all the best, and I hope you take good decisions that will ultimately help you to build wealth and become a billionaire one day and share your testimony with me. I love you all. Remember, if you learned something, can you type I have learned? Show me some love. I think giving out 1 hour every day to teach you guys these things, you need to show appreciation. Okay, so I heard there are some questions, so I'll take a few questions before we wrap up for the day. Let me see if I have a question. I think there's a question from Malcolm. Let me see. Malcolm, you can type your question again. Okay, so question number 1. Can I partner with someone in acquiring a land? That's a very big question, right? So partnering with someone to acquire a land, is a yes and a no question, because I don't, before people become your partners, you need to be sure that you guys share the same values. You need to have a couple of experience over time and build mutual trust amongst yourselves, okay? But what I would advise is, yes, you can, particularly if it's dividable, particularly if you are going 50-50. For example, I can buy one plot of land and we divide it 300 square meter each, right? So even if we fight, IS will write the company that sold the land to us to say, hey, separate each party's 300 square meter, or give us a separate document. So always go into relationships that is easy to settle disputes if they arise, because even the relationship or whatever you were doing was well separated, right? One of the lessons we're learning about some of the, I think there's a land case that happened about a pastor. I'm not going to mention his name because I still want to hear from him about the case, his own side of the story. But the little that we've heard about that story was that there was love affair mixed with buying of land. Okay, and one of the things I've always tell people, separate your love life from business. Let them be purely separate. Let me give you an example. I fired my wife from our company before. Yes, you heard me. I fired my wife. Okay, and I established her in another company. And my family members know that I don't play. My younger brother, our last born, spent just 24 hours in my company. He seeked for a job. He got the job and started, playing all these stories that doesn't make sense to me. Okay, I should allow him to be closing early. So what's the meaning of that? Okay, what's the meaning of that? Why should I allow you close early? It doesn't make sense to me. It's a company. It's not a family business. It's not Akintayo and Sons. Okay, it's a company. So separate love life, brother and sister from business. And like, for example, I only hire people I can fire. I can never give you a job if I can't sack you. I can never. If I know that for whatever reason I can't sack you, I'll never give you a job. Okay, so the day I employ you, I already know you are sackable. I can sack you clear cut, no issue. So we must learn to separate business from love. Number 2 is also, if you are the one receiving money, you're running a business and you're receiving money from people, make sure you open a limited liability company so that your company can be separate from your person. So for example, if you buy land from me, I'm the MD of GTEX Homes, and you have issues, right? It's GTEX Homes you did business with. And you have all right to seek all, your entitlement from GTEX Homes and not even affect me. That's why in America you see two people in court, and they will sit down, they are talking. They will see their lawyers will still come. They will still find a way to resolve issues. Because people in developed world, they've learned to separate personal issues from, when the things have to be done in a proper manner, and we make we mix all these things together. We create a mess, and we create so much bitterness and envy and jealousy. No, you don't want to do that. So separate. So that's what I do. I always separate my relationship with people. Malcolm, for example, is somebody who is a great guy. He's always been on this show, right? I separate that friendship we have from GTEx Homes, right? Malcolm can still be a client of GTEx Homes, right? So if he has issues with GTEx, even my friends, some of them will get contract from GTEx Homes, right? First of all, I make sure I'm not the one sitting on the board that approve whether they get the contract or not. So when friends come to me and say, hey, Mr. Steven, we need a job, we need to, help you build your house. I'm a building contractor. I will tell them, well, the email to apply is called vendors@gtexglobal.com. I will tell them I have no say, right? And it's true, I don't have a say actually. I don't choose contractors for GTEx Homes. So go, knowing that you are going to defend yourself and you can prove to them you can do the job. And that's it. Okay? That's it. But not that you are coming that, oh, I'm the friend of your boss. Give me the job. Nobody, they know. Even those who work in GTEx know. Right? I have had to ask, people who don't do well, they should let them go. Even though they are friends, they are families. So these are powerful principles that help guide business relationship. Let your friends know that you don't mix business with sentiment. And I've always lived that way, and it has helped me a lot. Number 2, do you think there could be bubble land in the mainland? Yes, Ikorodu is the bubble. Ikorodu is the bubble. Listen, during NSAS, some people who were very good at swimming, they said they just jumped into the lagoon close to Oriental Hotel, and they landed in Ikorodu. Honestly, that thing is just like this. It's in 15 minutes from Ikorodu, you are in VI. And as soon as there is a road and a bridge that connect that lagoon straight to Ikorodu, I promise you, the biggest bubble in Lagos will be in Ikorodu. So yes, I mean, the bubble was in the mainland. The land bubble started in the mainland in Ikeja, when Jakonde started the housing estates. Okay? That was when the land bubble started. Ikeja, Opebi, Allen, GRA, when you also started GRA, all those axes started going faster. So there have been land bubble in the mainland. There is still land bubble going on in the mainland. It's just where you look. Look at Abule Egba, was also a big land. Abule Egba was a big land bubble. So there are always land bubbles from time to time. Absolutely. And Ikorodu for me is the next. That's why I invested a lot in Ikorodu. A lot. Soon you will know how much I've done in Ikorodu. Malcolm says, thank you for taking this question, but do you think there can be a strict standard structure area for country home plan in Lagos? Country home is usually about having mass land. If you have the money, there's nothing you can't do in Lagos. Some people have country home in Ikoyi, in case you don't know. Yes, they do. Somebody's asking, do you, when lawyers buying a land with a partner, I don't understand what you mean by lawyers buying a land with a partner. Are you asking, okay, do you involve a lawyer when buying a land with a partner? You see, this involving lawyer thing is neither here nor there. So it's not about, like I said, I have friends who come and bid for a job in our company. The people they talk to are not lawyers. It's just about putting standards and protocols, right, that clearly spells out what we're doing. So whether lawyers are involved or not, things just have to be done properly. That's my point. Things have to be done properly. For example, if you're buying land from our company, no matter who you are, and I have cousins, I have relatives who buy property from my company, no matter who you are, there's a form you fill. You get your receipt. A contract is prepared. That one takes, 3 to 6 months. But they prepare your deed of assignment, your document, a survey is given to you, family or no family. So there is a proper structure to the transaction. So you can't come back later and start giving stories, right? If you were buying the land in installment, there are records to show. Every client has a file. So if you have not finished paying your money and you go and start lying that they didn't give you land, there are records to show. So just putting proper process is what is important. Charles says because of due process. Again, Charles, you need to ask your question. See the way Malcolm asks his question. Again, your questions are not straightforward, so it's difficult to answer. Are you saying that, is your question, should I involve a lawyer when trying to buy land with a partner? Is that the question? So it's tough to know, but I'm just trying to guess what you are asking for. But basically, there's nothing wrong involving lawyers in any transaction that you're doing. There's nothing wrong. However, you also need to know that you need to know what you are buying by yourself rather than relying too much on lawyers. That's my point. Okay, you need to know what you are buying. And I'll give you an example. There's a property I wanted to buy, true story. And thank God that I had been involved in the entire negotiations. And I have even done my own independent research before I just told my lawyer to prepare the document. At the point of him preparing document and taking check to the person I'm buying from, this is a true story. My lawyer told them that except the family gives him something, he's not going to allow, he's going to frustrate the deal. Right? Thank God that those people had direct access to me. And had to say it to me. Now, a company probably will not say that to you. And this is so why I tell people, yes, you can involve lawyers, you can involve third party, but you yourself know what you are trying to do. Rather than just putting everything on one man and one lawyer and one person and one family. Because the same thing people do with family. You see, the trust they used to have with family, they've pushed it on lawyers now. And we fail to realize that human beings will always be human beings, right? Whether they are lawyers, whether they are absolute power, corrupt absolutely. Right? Absolute power, corrupt absolutely. So when you put all the power on a lawyer, right, you have done a wrong move. Because now the lawyer can, and if I had to remove the lawyer out of that deal for us to conclude it, because he went to tell them, if you don't give me something, and he's paid for his services as a lawyer, he wasn't the agent, why will he be telling the buyer, the seller, to give him something? Else he will not make me buy. And we've had series of such issues. People who want to buy property from GTEX, who will tell GTEX they are involving their lawyers. I'm telling you a true story. In fact, there was one. The person already had an agent who brought him. And when he now involved his lawyer said the 10% must be paid to him, else he will not tell his client to go ahead and do the business with GTEX. So we have seen a lot. So when you just put all this in my lawyer, and sometimes I just laugh. In this country, lawyers are overrated. You better know your job very well. Just know what you're doing very well. Trust me. And try to look for companies who have credibility, that they have integrity. You see, I would rather do business with a man who has integrity without any lawyer present, okay, than do a business with a man who does not have integrity with the best of lawyer present. Let me repeat that again. It is better for me not to involve a lawyer and do one-on-one business with a man who has integrity than to do business with a man who doesn't have integrity and bring all the lawyers in the world together. Because if the person doesn't have integrity, even if I bring all the lawyers in the world together, if he's still going to behave in a dishonest way, he will still behave in a dishonest way. Yes, my lawyers are going to tell me they will fight it. But how many of you remember that lawyers just want to get their fees? Have you forgotten? They want to get their fees. If you agree with me, type I agree. It's easy for a lawyer to be deceiving you, Yeah, we're going to fight it. We're going to fight it. But again, lawyers just want to collect money. Best and smart people are those who do not even have issues that have to degenerate to legal issues and fighting each other. Remember the story of Solomon. Solomon, the Bible said, had many armies, right? He kept building houses for his army, but he never went to a single war. Okay, not one particular war. That's wisdom. It's better to have lawyers and not ever having to use them than to keep using lawyers and keep fighting every day, going to court. It never helps anybody to settle. So I think ultimately it's looking for people. How do you know people are credible? Check their track record. How long have they been doing this business? Okay, have they been consistent? So it's easy to know these things. Unfortunately, many of us prefer to buy something cheap rather than, I've met several people that I say, you've been hearing my teachings. Why haven't you buy property from us? Mr. Stephen, your properties are too expensive. That's why. 2 years down the line, they come back. Mr. Stephen, what me? I vow I will never trust anybody again. He was watching your show that made me to still begin to believe in Nigeria. But they cheated me. And I'll be like, they cheated you, Peleo. But you watch my show. Me that I teach you on the show. Why didn't you even try to patronize me? Okay? You say, but your things were too expensive. Well, again, isn't it better to buy something that is worth it? Because there's nothing of value that is cheap. The reason those people sold it for you cheap was because they're not going to give you anything in the first place. If I know I want to keep to my words, I would rather charge you a decent fee for my services, okay, than to be playing games with you. Okay, so people who always sell things for you at a cheap price do that because they know they are not going to keep to their word in the first place. Yeah, so that's the truth. So I always tell people, somebody say, how do I get a credible mentor? It's the same thing. Does he have result? He's teaching about real estate. How many estate does he have? These are the basic things. I'm able to teach you today. I have over 15 estates. Lagos, Abuja, Ogun State, and we're expanding to 200. So I have result to show you. So it's not theory. But many of us go pick mentors who don't have result. Again, but you need to know someone like me will not be cheap. Right? So you cannot come and meet me, Mr. Stephen, mentor me for free. How? Where? Did I learn what I learned for free? Right? If I should calculate how much losses I've made in real estate, that I'm now teaching you so that you don't make those losses, it's hundreds of millions. So don't you think I deserve to charge you a token to be able to share with you how not to lose the kind of money that I have lost? How to do things in a safe way? Don't you think it's wisdom that you are even able to come under my wings and even do the business directly through my company so that way at least you're sure that you're dealing with somebody that at least I have a little bit control over my own company, right? So these are things that are important that we understand. As Asante Taiwo says, can land secure by having family receipt and deed of assignment? I don't understand what you mean. My advice, don't even buy land from families. Leave that to a credible real estate to do. Right? Leave that to a credible real estate to do. It's always very difficult to prosecute land business in this country. And the reason is because when you deal with family, it's hard to even lay hold on such people. Right? It's hard to lay hold on such people. So you said you bought, the person who wrote the receipt for you, Mama Luku and Sons. Mama Luku can disappear. Mama Luku, Nigeria is so big, the person can just disappear and you see them. But if it's a company, they are registered with CAC. They have an office, right? They have an office. Even if the owner of the business is not there, the land they have is there. The estate they have is there. A lot of what they have is still there that the government can prosecute. I tell people that they can even, the court can demand that the company find a way to pay you. You know, there's so much around when you do things in the right way. That's just the bottom line. There's a lot around it. But if you don't just do them the right way, just because you are looking for cheap land, I ask people, why do they buy from families? It's because they want it cheap. But families always sell. The land they were even selling to you, they must have, in many cases, by the time you were coming to buy that land, you are the third person. There's a place, I'm not going to mention the location in Bejileki. They are notorious for that. Okay, those families, you know, I remember we dodge it like this. We dodge it like this. In fact, I remember taking 50 million to that family and they throw the check at me. And thank God they throw that check at me. Okay, because I was the fifth person they were trying to sell that same land to. I was the fifth person. So what will have happened is that 5 of us will have been fighting each other and begin to, you know, I mean, so the wisdom is always buy from companies. At least when you are dealing with companies, it's Oyinbo you are talking. And some of them get diabolical at some point, some of these family people. So you come there, they put rituals in front of the land. So again, you can't even fight them to things like that. So I would rather deal with a company that can speak Oyinbo. I can, my lawyer can write them. You know, can go to court. You can be speaking grammar. Okay, but family. The reason companies like us are able to succeed buying properties from families that we're not buying one plot. So we're buying in bulk. So we have influence over different people. You know, we do a lot of PR with these families. Christmas now, we're going to do a lot for most of the families we bought land from. Ileya, we always buy ram. You know, the kings of those locations, there's a lot of things we do time to time. Then, you know, so there's a lot we real estate companies are able to do that you bought one plot or 2 plots, it's not profitable for you, okay, every festive season to do something. It's not profitable. How much is the land serve? Do you see the point now? But because we are buying in bulk, so it's still profitable for us to keep doing a lot of those. That's why companies like ours, you go on your land, you start building, nobody's harassing you. It's not as if there are no people who collect those money for foundation and roofing. We have paid them. That's why you got to the land and had no headache. It's not that they didn't collect it. Okay, we paid the money. You know, we made sure we build a system where they are able to give you peace of mind and nobody harass you. That's all. So when you look at all that comes with the package of buying property from a company, right, it's just better than say, you know what, I want to buy from families because it's cheap. I always tell people, what is important about land is buy it from a genuine source, okay, and that your land is preserved. That's the most important thing. You see, this issue of cheap or no cheap, the land will still appreciate. You will still get your value. As long as you bought it from the right source, the land will still appreciate. You know, and you will still be grateful. I mean, look at the one I told you, the Nikon estate one that the man bought through cooperative, right, for 12 million and sold it for 220 million. If you had bought it directly from the families, there's no way that land will have been there 15 years after. There's no way he will have come back to meet a land. And the reason why the land was able to, why he was able to sell for 220 million is that they've now tarred the place. It's now an estate, which is the kind of structure we are building. Good road, electricity, everything is now perfect than the water he bought 15 years ago. That's why the value went up. So when you look at all these things that real estate companies will eventually, again, if they have integrity, will eventually do to your land, which are usually what help the property to appreciate in value in the long term, then it's usually worth the price that you're paying. Just don't be penny wise, pound foolish. Just be a little bit more trusting and also think long term. And again, know what you are doing yourself. Stop all this, what my lawyer said, what my cousin said, what my in-law said, I mean, and this is one of the reasons why even marriages break in this part of the world. You know, when you see how marriages get messed up, it's always third party. My uncle said he's a witch. My prophet said he's a wizard. My in-law said he's a witchcraft. I look at my marriage. My marriage would not have lasted 1 year if I had involved prophets, if I've involved my family members in my marriage, or my wife had involved her family members. Okay? It will not have lasted 1 year. It will not. Many times when you see people have, you know, real issues, even in business, it's third party. You've involved too many people in your issues that everybody has polluted your mind. This one has said that one has said this. And the entire thing has just gotten so messed up, so messy, that nobody is thinking straight anymore. Right? Nobody is thinking straight anymore to say, what is even the merit of the matter? What were we even fighting about? Everybody's just after, they said you said this. They said you said that. So reduce third party in business transaction. Focus on what you are after. And if your God says you're on the right track, the Bible says there's a spirit in man, the spirit of the Almighty giveth him understanding. Right? So if people are right, you will know. Your spirit can tell you. I mean, I don't, again, I've gone this far because I reduce third party in whatever I do. Okay, because I've just realized that that's ultimately what creates most of the problem. Because particularly when my third party does not have anything in it for him or her. Okay, so we have a third party in form of, let's say, a lawyer, and I'm not paying my lawyer well. How do I expect my lawyer to necessarily fight for my interest? Okay? Or the other way, you know, or my lawyer is looking at the volume of the transaction, because like the one I told you now, my lawyer is on retainer. He's paid every month, right? But he probably looked at the volume of the transaction, and all his own part was to just write document, and he's already becoming greedy that if we're going to do this entire transaction, the seller must still give me something. So there's a lot that goes into when we begin to bring in third party. And if their own interest is not well factored in, they become greedy and the conversation begin to change into what doesn't even favor any one of us. I hope you've learned a thing or two from today's class. I love you all. Thank you for watching. Remember to share this video. You can go to YouTube and watch them and get so much value. I love you. And please feel free to share. Invite your friends and show me some love if you got some value, guys. Come on. God bless you so well. Somebody says, Mr. Stephen, when are you going to invest in Ijebu land? Property in Ijebu does not appreciate like in Lagos. That's why I've not invested. The only place that property is, you know, is exciting me in Ijebu is Shagamu. Shagamu is becoming it's getting better. So when it comes to investment, stop being sentimental. Oh, I'm from Ijebu, so I must buy land in Ijebu. I'm from Abeokuta, I don't have a plot of land in Abeokuta. I'm from Ifo, I don't have a plot of land in Ifo. I'm from, my village is somewhere in Ifo, I don't have a plot of land there. You know why? It doesn't appreciate yet. If they did it, I can see signs that property have started appreciating in Ifo. You will now know that I'm also a Monile somewhere. You say I'll go there and claim I'm the son of the soil. I want land here too. But except for ancestral land, I don't have properties there. Okay? I'm beginning to think of investing in Ogun State just because of the World Bank report that Ogun State is doing well and investors are gradually moving to Ogun State. So I'm gradually beginning to consider investing in some part of Ogun State. But please note, a smart businessman does not do business based on sentiments. You know, you don't do business based on sentiments of, you know, my village, my town, where I am from. No, you ask yourself, where do I put my money? And I'll get good returns. That's the rule. So we're going to be investing in Abeokuta because of the new report and Shagamu very soon because of the new report that we got. Okay, so those are things you look at. You look at reports, you look at ease of doing business, you look at areas that there will be growth, and there will be returns on investment and things like that. That's how you do business. I love you all.